Russia continues military provocations against the North Atlantic Alliance over the Baltic. This time, the aggressor country aimed its air defence at the French Aerospace Forces aircraft Atlantic II, which was patrolling international airspace over the Baltic Sea as part of a NATO operation. The head of the French Ministry of Defence, Sebastien Lecornu, spoke about this on his page on the social network X. According to the minister, the French plane was detected by the fire control radar of the Russian S-400 air defence system. The head of the Defence Department described the incident as an act of intimidation on the part of the Russian Federation and called such aggressive actions unacceptable. The French Armed Forces Command also commented on the incident. They stated that the aircraft encountered an attempt to jam it during a patrol flight and was illuminated by the fire control radar. The official representative of the French General Staff, Colonel Guillaume Vernet, noted that this is not an isolated case. According to him, this shows that the Russian Federation does not remain passive. The Atlantic II flight was part of the Allied Operation Baltic Sentry, which was launched after Russia was suspected of repeatedly damaging undersea cables. Officials from the aggressor country have not yet made any statements regarding this incident. Earlier, media reported how a Russian ship attacked a German Air Force helicopter over the Baltic in December. The German helicopter was fired upon with signal ammunition during a reconnaissance mission. Later, the media wrote that during this incident, the Russians also fired several machine gun shots into the water. The head in Foreign Ministry, Annalena Baerbock, spoke about the incident on the sidelines of a NATO meeting in Brussels, Welt reports. The minister called the incident another episode of hybrid attacks by Russia and its allies. She promised increased control over pipelines and data cables in the Baltic Sea, and critical infrastructure would also be strengthened. The head of the Foreign Ministry emphasised that there are constantly ships in the Baltic Sea that participate in circumventing the sanctions imposed against Russia. Tensions between Russia and Western states in the Baltic Sea region are rising. Shots are heard from a Russian ship as a Bundeswehr helicopter takes off. Foreign Minister Baerbock announces increased patrols to protect critical infrastructure. The publication writes about the incident.
Three lawyers who once represented the late Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny were jailed Friday in Russia as part of the Kremlin's crackdown on dissent that has reached levels unseen since Soviet times. Vadim Kobzev, Igor Serginin and Alexei Liptser were jailed from 3.5 to 5.5 years by a court in the town of Patushki, about 100 kilometers east of Moscow. They were arrested in October 2023 on charges of involvement with extremist groups, as Navalny's networks were deemed by authorities. As the sentence was passed, supporters in the courtroom shouted, "Guys, you are heroes. We are with you." The case was widely seen as a way to increase pressure on the opposition to discourage defense lawyers from taking political cases. At the time, Navalny was serving a 19-year prison term on several criminal convictions, including extremism. He died in a Russian prison camp in February 2023. The independent Russian newspaper Novaya Gazeta reported that Kobzev said in his final statement in court on January 10 that, "We are being tried for transmitting Navalny's thoughts to other people." According to Associated Press, Navalny's networks were deemed extremist following a 2021 ruling that outlawed his organizations, the Foundation for Fighting Corruption and a network of regional offices, as extremist groups. That ruling, which exposed anyone involved with the organizations to prosecution, was condemned by Kremlin critics as politically motivated and designed to stifle Navalny's activities. According to Navalny's allies, authorities accused the lawyers of using their position to pass information from him to his team. Navalny, an anti-corruption campaigner and outspoken opponent of President Vladimir Putin, was arrested in 2021 upon his return from Germany, where he was recuperating from a nerve agent poisoning he blamed on the Kremlin. He was ordered to serve 2.5 years in prison. After 2 more trials, his sentence was extended to 19 years. He and his allies said the charges were politically motivated and accused the Kremlin of seeking to jail him for life. In December 2023, Navalny was moved from a penal colony in the Vladimir region east of Moscow to one above the Arctic Circle, where he died in February at the age of 47 under still unexplained circumstances. His widow, Yulia Navalnaya, and members of his team alleged he was killed on orders from the Kremlin. Officials have rejected the accusation. 2 other Navalny lawyers, Olga Mikhailova and Alexander Fedulov, are on a wanted list but no longer live in Russia. Mikhailova, who defended Navalny for a decade, said she was charged in absentia with extremism. Kobzev, Liptser and Serginin have been deemed to be political prisoners, according to human rights advocates from Memorial, Russia's most prominent rights group that won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2022. The group demands their immediate release.
Кобзев Вадим Владимирович предательного совершения преступления, предусмотренного частью 2 статьи 282 прим. 1 УК РФ, за которое назначить ему наказание в виде лишения свободы на срок 5 лет 6 месяцев с отбыванием сотрудниками общего режима, с лишением права заниматься профессиональной деятельностью по оказанию юридических услуг на срок 3 года, с заключением свободы на срок 1 год. 2, 3, 68, 10, 23, 22, 90. Липсер Алексей Евгеньевич, предательного совершения преступления, предусмотренного частью 282 прим. 1 УК РФ, за которое назначить ему наказание в виде лишения свободы на 5 лет с отбыванием сотрудниками общего режима, с лишением права заниматься профессиональной деятельностью по оказанию юридических услуг на срок 3 года, с лишением свободы на срок 1 год. 8, 10, 01, 7, 4, 2, 0, 52, 63, банк. Сергуйна Игорь Сергеевич, предатель виновного совершения преступления, предусмотренного частью 282 прим. 1 УК РФ, за которое назначить ему наказание в виде лишения свободы на срок 3 года 6 месяцев с отбыванием сотрудниками общего режима, с лишением права заниматься профессиональной деятельностью по оказанию юридических услуг на срок 3 года, с заключением свободы на срок 1 год. Осужденный, вам понятно принято решение?
Да.
Право обжалования понятно?
Да.
Судебное дело закрыто.
Уступите, пожалуйста. Уступите.
Сегодня вынесен на наш приговор, который, на наш взгляд, является незаконным, необоснованным и несправедливым. К сожалению, это так. Мы не согласны с таким приговором, не можем согласиться. Я считаю, что у нас очень сильная правовая позиция. У адвоката вообще очень тяжелая работа, а когда ты защищаешь своего коллегу, это еще тяжелее, потому что ты не можешь презюмировать эту ситуацию, проецировать эту ситуацию на самого себя, потому что ты адвокат, ты понимаешь, что происходит.